What's up, y'all? Real Good here. Speaking up is disruptive. Before we get into it, if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. If you want to send me some love, which you do, head over to patreon.com/realgoodlife. I appreciate you. Let's get into it. Speaking up is disruptive. Speaking up, what does that mean? It's not just speaking, it's not just talking. Speaking up, being seen, being vulnerable, taking a stand, stepping up. Speaking up for something you believe in, for something you want, whether it's yourself or against something that you see as cruel or harmful or evil, taking a stand. It's disruptive. Now, what does that mean? It means that it might rub some people the wrong way. It might cause some disruption, some change, some uncomfortable change for people. People might freeze or flight or attack. You might trigger them. You might even create some trauma. So there's potentially some cost, whether it's cost in your rapport and social perception of you, or actual cost in loss to others and their discomfort. Speaking up has cost. So when should you speak up? Well, when it's worth it. Okay, great. When is it worth it? And that's the question that we should be asking. Make sure that you're not just reacting and you're not just speaking up because you feel triggered into a situation. Continue to take a moment, continue to be in self-awareness, continue to observe, come back to reality and check in with your somatic experience. And then when you're asking yourself what is good and whether or not to take action, we check in with, is it worth it to speak up? What are the other options? For example, just speaking tactically. You can remove yourself, right? You can kind of stop listening to some extent. You could speak up in different ways, right? You don't have to say a lot, right? Sometimes you could just say, I notice I'm feeling uncomfortable. Start the conversation. If they ask, they ask. If they don't, they don't, right? You just a little bit. So speaking up doesn't necessarily mean bringing the hammer down. What if you want to bring the hammer down? What if you see something? What if you want to go out and change the world because your story says the world should be a certain way and you want to go bring down that hammer and speak up, right? Maybe some people think this is speaking up. Maybe some people think this is me on a soapbox. Maybe it is. Why do I do this? Why do we speak up? Why do we take a stand, say something, make it public, and put at risk of being judged, for example, shamed, or have something used against us? Well, when we think it's worth it. What's worth it to you? Take a minute to reflect and write in the comments. What's worth it to you to stand up for? We have all sorts of different things that people could stand up for. We've got Black Lives Matter, #MeToo. We've got vegans. We've got children, and the list goes on. What do you take a stand for? I hope you take a stand for yourself. And to touch back in on the billionaire mindset, which we're going to be getting in more and more, I think it's important, first and foremost, to put on your oxygen mask first. Even if you have no interest in the billionaire mindset and being 100x effective, maybe you want to take care of yourself or take care of some individuals around you. Put your mask on first and then tend to others. Now, in the billionaire mindset, we're going to go down this rabbit hole a bit more. When should you speak up with a billionaire mindset? Good question. Let me pose it as a question to you. When does a billionaire speak up and put his neck out there? When do they speak up? What are the stereotypes we have around them? Not that the stereotypes are real, but what are the stereotypes we have around them? They're selfish, they care about money, power, so on and so forth. So again, it's self, alignment with self, right? So when should you speak up? I don't know. To take care of yours. Maybe not to take a moral, ethical, or spiritual stance. As much as that makes my insides hurt and feel sad, I notice I got a headache. I have a headache right now and I feel sadness and kind of breaking heart. If we're going to discuss the billionaire mindset, if we're going to discuss the 100x, the powerhouses in the world, those people beyond the ceiling that those of us might be bumping up against. If we're interested in creating that space, drifting up into that land of power, it's important to start recognizing these behaviors, discussing how we feel about them. and maybe make that journey and make that journey together. So in the billionaire mindset, when do you speak up? It's still a question of when is it worth it. It just might be worth it in different ways for them. And we get to choose. We absolutely get to choose, right? Maybe there's not many among us that care to be billionaires, that care to be powerful. For me, I notice as I keep on bumping up against the top of status hierarchies and careers and social ladders and all sorts of different aspects of my life, I'm starting to feel kind of like there's nowhere else to go. And so now my curiosity is, can I move up into that next echelon of power and influence and maintain the things that are truly important to me, reality, goodness, and work? Or does power corrupt? Does it inevitably corrupt? Right? Stay tuned, hit that subscribe button. Let me know your feedback. If you're a billionaire, go ahead and give me your feedback. I'll be attempting to read between the lines, I promise you. Stay tuned. It's been real good. It's gonna keep getting better. See you soon.